Hello! In this video I am going to show you my red dragon deck. It focuses on summoning all the different red dragons, synchros, and it's a lot of fun to play, and I got up to Platinum 3 with this deck. So there are basically two ways to get your synchro plays going. The first one are the Resonator tuners. So I play 3 copies of Crimson Resonator, that's the best one. 2 copies of Red Resonator. 1 copy each of Barrier Resonator and Synchron Resonator. Of course, 3 copies of the spell that searches them out of the deck, Resonator Call. Excuse me. And of course 3 copies of Wandering King Wildwind. It is the perfect card to combo with the Resonators. If you control a Fiend type tuner, you can special summon it from your hand. Also during the next turn you can banish it from the graveyard to add 1 Fiend type tuner, so to add a Resonator from your deck to your hand. The second way to synchro summon is this card. Probably one of the best low rarity cards in the game, Psy Reflector. And this is also the reason I play 1 Assault Beast, 1 Assault Sentinel and 1 Fire Formation Tanky to search those 2. And of course the Trap Assault Mode activate. So how this works: if this card is summoned, normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Assault Mode activate or 1 card that lists Assault Mode activate in its text to your hand. And most importantly, the second part, you can reveal 1 Assault Mode activate, so this card, you can reveal this card in your hand to special summon 1 monster from your grave that lists Assault Mode activate in its text and change its level, increase it by 1 to 4 and special summon it from the graveyard. So you basically discard this, you discard Assault Beast to your graveyard to add this to your hand, and then you can instantly summon it is usually used for level 8 synchro with this effect, because you can summon it back with Psy Reflector. That's also why I play 2 Emergency Teleport to summon Psy Reflector, because it's a Psychic type monster. So, and this card, Assault Sentinel, you can tribute it to summon this from your deck. So basically you want to summon Psy Reflector. To summarize it, you want to summon Psy Reflector, and you can either just normal summon it from your hand, special summon it with this from your deck, or if you have Tanky or this one, you can special summon it from your deck with this one too. And as soon as it is summoned, you can add this to your hand, discard this, get the trap, and you have an instant level 8 synchro. It sounds more complicated than it is. It is easier than it sounds, probably. Then the other monsters I play, 1 copy of Witch of the Black Forest. It works great with the Resonators. And for Synchro summoning, Synchro material. 1 Link Apple, it's basically a free draw, a free upstart goblin, and fodder for Pot of Avarice. 3 copies of Ash. With this deck you want to go first and you need Ash in case your opponent has max C. So you need 3 copies of Ash. And 1 copy of max C. In my opinion 1 copy is enough for this deck. Because as I said, you usually want to go first. And you can add max C, you can search it out from the deck with Witch of the Black Forest. Then to the spells, I already said 3 copies of Resonator Call, of course. 1 Pot of Avarice, works great in this deck, often you can activate it on your first turn. 1 copy of Allure of Darkness, 1 is enough. But I think you should play 1 in case you have too many copies of the same monster in your hand. Just in case 1 copy works well, I think. 3 copies of Upstart to get your combos quicker. 1 Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm. Tanky to search out the Assault monsters. 2 Emergency Teleport. 2 Forbidden Chalice. Of course the Assault Mode Trap for this effect. Solemn Scolding, because you don't play many other face downs. And 2 copies of Red Rain. This card is really great in this deck, and I think 3 copies is too much, but I think you should play 2 copies because it's that good. And you basically always summon a level 8 or higher on your first turn. Also, if it is in your grave and you summon a level 8 or higher Synchro, you can add it back to your hand from your grave. That's why it's even better. And extra deck, 1 level 5. There are bad level 5s, I just play this because I don't have any bad level 5s. The best one might be Hyper Librarian or some other ones. Just the best level 5 Synchro you have. And at least 2 copies. I never really missed never missed a third one, so I think 2 works fine, of Red Rising Dragon. 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. I play 2 copies of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, but 1 copy might be enough. This one is important. 1 copy of Chaos Ruler. That's usually the one you summon if you go first. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated light or dark monster from your deck to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So add 1 light or dark and send the other 4 cards to the graveyard. Also you can banish 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand and or graveyard, except this card special, summon this card from your graveyard. Banish it when it leaves the field. So that's usually the play you make on your first turn. This card also combos great with Red Rain, because as I said earlier, Red Rain can add itself back to your hand from the grave. Also it works great with this one, because you can then make a level 9, and you should play at least 2 copies. I think 2 copies is perfect of this level 9 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. It's a quick effect, Omni Negate. 1 face up card, negate its effects until the end of this turn, quick effect. 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Sometimes this, in some situations, this is good value, card advantage. Then this one, you don't have to play this one. I basically never used it. I don't think you need this one. I already had it, so, and I don't have that many other ultra rare synchros, so I play it. But if you have better synchros, you can remove this and replace it with something better. One copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. You don't really need this one. I already had it, and in some situations it's great, but it's very rarely played. I barely ever played it, so you don't really need this one, but if you have it, it's nice. 2 copies of Red Supernova Dragon, the Bossmonster, and then I play 1 rank 4 Exceed. I just picked this one. Just pick the best rank 4 Exceed you have. Just in case. I know it's very unlikely, but it might happen. I had 1 or 2 games where I didn't have any tuners, but ended up with 2 level 4 monsters. So just in case, 1 rank 4 Exceed might not be bad if you have the space left in your extra deck. Because most of the time you're just going to summon those monsters anyways, so there should be some space left for 1 rank 4 Exceed just in case. So as I explained earlier, with this deck you prefer to go first, to have the first turn, and set up a field of the boss monsters to negate your opponent's cards. Ideally you also have Red Rain, but regarding the monsters, usually first you summon this Chaos Ruler, and then from Chaos Ruler you will go either into the level 9 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend or Red Supernova Dragon. And Red Supernova Dragon's effect is, first of all, it has a ton of attack, gains 500 for each tune in your graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn when your opponent's monster effect is activated, or when an opponent's monster declares an attack quick effect, you can activate this effect, banish this card. Also banish all cards, not just monsters, all cards your opponent controls. Once per turn during your next end phase, after this card was banished by its own effect, special summon this banished card. So this is really difficult to deal with for most decks. And it really is better than I thought initially. As I said, I got up to Platinum 3 with this deck, but then I got stuck because of the weakness of this deck. This deck is vulnerable, whatever, to hand traps. That's the weakness. So I don't think it can go much higher than Platinum 3. Maybe if you're very patient. But in the lower ranks this deck is a ton of fun to play. I had a lot of great games and replays. I made another video of this deck with some replays, so if you want to see the deck in action, check that video out.